Good morning, everyone, again. So we're going to start with our welcoming remarks now. The first speaker is Mr. Walter Bernick, Head of Aid from the Department of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Development, Government of Canada.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I love doing that. In Jamaica, when you say good morning, everyone in the room says good morning back. I'm still getting used to that. I just got here a couple of months ago, and I'm really enjoying that aspect. Madame Kathy Lalazarian, Country Director, World Bank, Jamaica. Professor Claremont Curtin, Deputy Executive Director, UE Regional Headquarters. And esteemed colleagues, all protocol respected. I'm honored to have been invited this morning to bring greetings at this event on behalf of the Government of Canada. Canada is very pleased to support improved governance and public sector management through the CEMCAR project. This is an important collaboration between the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund that will see an improvement of public financial management, tax and customs administration through utilization of ICT solutions as a catalyst for implementing best practices. CEMCAR is a key project for Canada in promoting improved policies, systems, and practices in key ministries across 12 countries. Moreover, it is central to Canada's investment in improved public sector economic management in the region. This $20 million project is a part of Canada's $600 million commitment to the region, promoting sustainable economic growth by reinforcing economic foundations, growing businesses and investing in people, supporting rule of law, administrative systems, and access to justice, and working on risk reduction and resilience. Key to supporting economic foundations in the region is to address constraints to fiscal reform, improve debt management, and increased regional integration. One of the key successes of CEMCAR has been the modernization of public sector processes, institutions, and systems by having countries share experiences and develop common solutions. This will facilitate regional integration. Canada is very encouraged by the collaboration between the World Bank and the IMF. The work together has mobilized analytical depth and operational experience for CEMCAR to better serve our partners in the region. CEMCAR focuses on increasing the opportunities for economies of scale, providing common solutions and standards to foster regional integration through the modernization of tax, customs, and public financial management practices, framed by the improvement of national and eventually regional ICT systems. Through CEMCAR, the region as a whole has a much better opportunity to modernize processes and institutions and develop flexible and sustainable ICT systems as countries share experiences and develop common approaches. This SOE Academy is an important example of how neighbors in the Caribbean who face similar issues share experiences, expertise, and knowledge under the guidance of renowned international experts and practitioners in state-owned enterprise risk management. The change starts here. You are the change. The decision to host the event at the University of West Indies was not a coincidence either. The regional headquarters of the premier tertiary institution of the Caribbean was selected in order to underscore improved regional collaboration. The SOE Academy will use the UE as the medium through which public servants and governments of the region can access theoretical and practical training in tax and customs administration, public financial management, and government information systems, core areas of focus for CEMCAR. Canada has a strong commitment to UE through other investments, including strengthening e-learning through distance education, the Canada Caribbean Leadership Program, the Improved Access to Justice Program as well. And together, these projects form about $60 million worth of investment for Canada in this region to support leadership development, structural reform, and strengthen legislative drafting needs in the region. To this suite of projects, I'll also mention a recently approved program for regional advancement of statistics in the Caribbean. The Statistics Project supports the CARICOM Secretariat, OECS Secretariat, and National Statistics Offices for the advancement of national and regional statistics. Good statistics leads to evidence-based policy development and informed decision-making. We look forward to seeing greater synergies being developed among all these investments to benefit everyone. In closing, I'd like to thank the World Bank's core planning team for CEMCAR, who spent countless hours in taking care of logistics, flights, meals, accommodation, conferencing facilities for over 80 participants from 10 Caribbean countries, 4 African nations, World Bank, CARTAC, IMF, and mentors from all over the world. There will continue to be close collaboration and synchronization with CARTAC to improve SOE oversight in the region. Finally, I'd like to also recognize the very important contribution of my colleague, Kathy Lalazarian, now acting World Bank representative in Jamaica, and the role that she has played in the last 3 years in leading CEMCAR team to this important juncture in programming. I wish you all the best. Best of luck in your consultations, and I look forward to hearing about the results. Thank you very much.
Next is Professor Claremont Curtin, Deputy Executive Director, University of West Indies Regional Headquarters.
All protocols having been observed, good morning. I bring greetings from the leadership of the University of the West Indies, the Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, and the Principal of the Mona Campus, Professor Archibald MacDonald. I welcome you to the regional headquarters of the University of the West Indies, and I echo what the Canadian representative has said, that this is no accident. This is a very important regional institution with 4 campuses in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and an open campus covering at least 14 centers. I want to use this opportunity to welcome the academic mentors. And if you look in your program, these are mentors with wide-ranging and many years of theoretical and applied experience, who will share these experiences with you all. I also want to welcome the representatives from mainly Caribbean SIDS, small island developing states, but also, I understand, representatives from Seychelles, Gambia, and Ghana. Again, I want to echo my colleague, the previous speaker, his commendations of the SOE academic organizing team, which worked long hours over many months to prepare this conference. Allow me the opportunity to single out my former student at the graduate and undergraduate level, Richard Sutherland, who played a critical role in the early stages of the dialogue. And now that we are at the collegial level, I think he assumes he can tell me anything without any repercussions. As you are aware, CEMCAR, which is the acronym for Supporting Economic Management in the Caribbean, is a joint World Bank IMF technical assistance program. It targets improvements in economic management, regional integration, and competitiveness across our region. The workshop focuses on, very critically, developing more efficient effective, and accountable public institutions, policies, processes, and IT systems. And its fundamental aim is to build capacity geared towards modern public expenditure management and revenue administration systems in the Caribbean. I think that this training, this workshop, is timely. Why do I say so? There is a growing threat in our Caribbean region of what I call existential threats. In other words, threats to our existence, threats to the viability of our societies, resulting from the combined effects of economic decline, climate change and natural disasters, and criminal violence. All of these threats are challenging the ability of our social and economic systems, of regional and national governments to cope with daily survival of our peoples. One response to this existential threat, of which I am proud to have been a part, is the development of a strategic plan for the Caribbean community, 2015 to 2019, subtitled Repositioning CARICOM. It was approved by heads of government of CARICOM in 2014, July. Among its fundamental goals is to identify a set of integrated strategic priorities focusing on what we call a resilience model. This includes building economic resilience, building social resilience, building environmental resilience, building technical resilience, strengthening the CARICOM identity and spirit of the regional community, and strengthening community governance. I know all of you are aware that globally, SOEs are important institutions in many, especially developing countries. And therefore, this is a critical workshop which is expected to enhance your own capacities and target growth and development in the interests of Caribbean people. At the most recent UN conference on small island states in Samoa, SIDS developed what they call the SIDS Accelerated Modalities of Action, the Samoa Pathway. And among the commitments given by the leadership and technical personnel at that particular meeting is, and I quote, fostering entrepreneurship and innovation, building capacity, and increasing the competitiveness and social entrepreneurship of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises and state-owned enterprises in small island developing states. I think one has to bear this in mind in a workshop of this nature. One has to bear in mind that the CARICOM countries are in the main archipelagos. And unfortunately, you can't drive from St. Kitts even to Nevis. You can't drive from Trinidad to Tobago, nor from St. Vincent to Grenada. So seas separate us. It's an archipelago. And an archipelago is a special geographical space which requires special responses. We are happy at UWI and UWI Consulting, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of the University of the West Indies, to team with the World Bank, the IMF, and CARTAC to host this very important workshop. We have initiated discussions to develop distance learning facilities to institutions and technical personnel across the region. And here we plan to use UWI regional distance learning facilities. Last night I had a brief look at the course outline, which covers some very critical issues related to SOE corporate governance and fiscal risks and financial issues. These are very critical issues in terms of the development processes of our region. And you, as representatives of your different countries, paid mainly, of course, by the taxpayers of your countries, must continue to commit yourselves to the development process of our region. I support the approach of the SOE Academy. Many years ago, I have been teaching on the campus now for 40 years, and there was a discussion about the concept of teaching. And those of you with gray hair may remember the work of Paulo Freire, a Latin American scholar, who spoke of the banking concept of education, where the lecturer came and deposited knowledge to uncritical, accepting students. Fortunately for me, I have never been able to do that. I always accept challenges and tell my students that at the end of the lecture, if I haven't learned something, then they have failed me as well as themselves. I support the approach, though, of the SOE Academy, where you will work with experienced mentors. And I want you to see this as a mutually beneficial process. You will benefit from the mentors and their guidance, and the mentors will benefit from you and your experiences. I'm sure they will agree with me that none of them, or none of us, have a monopoly on knowledge, and therefore we have to share with each other our experiences, targeting a better way of life for our Caribbean people. In closing, I wish the workshop every success. I trust that it will achieve its goals related to capacity building in public expenditure management and revenue administration across our region. I leave you with one lesson, though, based on my 40 years of experience in teaching and regional policy making. One of the major weaknesses in our region I define as the implementation deficit. What do I mean by this? I mean that we fail to implement decisions which we make. We come to conferences, we internalize things, and for one reason or another, we fail to implement most of what we internalize. Sometimes the constraints are beyond our own capacities, and sometimes we have difficulties in this regard. But let not this be a workshop characterized by implementation deficits. Let this be a workshop where, upon return to your respective home countries, you seek to implement some of what you have internalized, in spite of the constraints, and expose these ideas to as wide a cross-section of your colleagues as possible. Thank you very much.
And finally, the last welcome remark, Kathy Lalazarian, Country Manager for Jamaica from the World Bank.
All protocols observed. Good morning. Welcome to Jamaica for those of you who are visiting us here this week, and welcome to the week-long SOE Academy. I'm very happy to be standing here in front of you as acting country manager for the World Bank. In fact, I think my colleague Walter had promoted me for a moment there to director, but I enjoyed that 2-minute long promotion. But as you heard as well, in a past life of mine, I had been very intimately involved in the SEMCAR program, in development and launching it, and so I couldn't be happier to be here to see the fruits of the program in front of us and here in Jamaica. I'd like to thank the Government of Canada. Without the generous funding that they had provided, we would not be able to be here today. And of course, I'd also like to thank our partners at the IMF and at CARTAC, who we work very closely with in the region and in the SEMCAR program. So why are we here today, and why the focus on SOEs? SOEs and public bodies are critical as they are animals with special and unique roles. And in a real sense, they provide a critical role in sound economic management and service delivery. SOEs and public bodies ensure the delivery of world-class services, whether or not the enterprise is public or privately owned. They often preside over the delivery of basic social services, such as health and education, water, housing, and are drivers of the economy in such critical areas such as energy and infrastructure. They're also players in market-driven sectors such as tourism and are guardians of natural resources such as extractive industries. SOEs are really the government, is really the government of the people in superhero capes, providing a whole range of services and benefits to citizens, but on schedule, profitably and observing sound business principles. That is potentially powerful. Because SOEs have to be tighter, leaner, and better run while holding dear the public good, it delivers a twofer in the fight against poverty and the promotion of shared prosperity. In the first place, by being fiscally responsible, SOEs can contribute to the development and growth of a more robust economy, and by being publicly accountable, they can foster the best environment of trust required to develop that cohesive, secure, and just society. We're very happy this week to have an event that brings together international participants, participants from 10 Caribbean countries, and with the added dimension of representatives from 4 African nations. Certainly this diversity will not only enrich the dialogue, but add great value to subsequent application of lessons learned in the field. The World Bank team here today is also part of the Latin American Network on Corporate Governance of State-Owned Enterprises. With this, we would like to build a bridge between the current state of the dialogue in the Caribbean and the ongoing conversation with the rest of Latin America. We're excited about the substantial and rich program ahead of us this week, and we hope that you are as well. One of the most exciting aspects of the schedule, I think, is the number of case studies that will virtually transport you to the field across the globe, from Africa across to the Southern Cone, Paraguay, and up to Medellin, Colombia. Finally, none of this would have been possible without the support of the University of West Indies, and we'd like to offer our thanks and gratitude for being the host of us here this week. And with that, I wish you all a rich and productive week. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the speakers. And we're now going to start with our